Two items. First item I'm going to introduce to you is a piece of rope. Now the reason I call it a piece of rope is because I'm very proud of the rope. And the reason I'm proud of the rope is because when I bought it in a hardware store, it was a string. And I raised the string all the way up to the rope. Now at this point I'm going to invite everybody, especially you. I want you up front. No, you. I want you up front.
All right.
Which hand is holding the rope? That's called my left hand.
Yeah.
So in my right we now have the scissors, correct?
Yeah.
Now, if I take and cut one end off, how many ends are now left on the rope?
Still have two ends.
No, one, because we just cut it off. Now, if I take and cut the other end off, how many ends are now left on the rope?
Shouldn't have any.
None, because they're both on the floor. Now, if I take approximately about the center of the rope and cut it in half, you would agree we have two pieces,
Yeah.
which have four ends, two at the top and two at the bottom. Now, if I take and cut one end out of here, that should leave me with how many ends? If the questions are too hard, I'll start this all over. Now, at this point, we have one end and two ends at the bottom, which makes three. Now, if I take and throw the other end out of here, we now have two pieces of rope with no ends at the top, two ends at the bottom. And if I take my thumb and forefinger like this and run it back and forth, sort of like a worming machine, you can now weave the rope right back to where we started. Take the rope and examine it for the audience. One piece?
One piece.
I'm going to trade you the rope for the scissors at this point, and ask you to go ahead and cut it anywhere you so desire between my fingers. Now we have two pieces of rope, which should be even at the top and the bottom. Right now, notice that it is short at the bottom, correct?
Yeah.
Go ahead and even it up. Okay, now we have still a piece that is uneven. Go ahead and cut it right through both of them so you get it even. Now at this point, look at the awful big hunk he took out. Now at this point, you don't mind too terribly if I take the rope and in front of an audience, stretch it. So take your imagination. I hope you all came by with an imagination. And stretch your imagination, which will give you the impression that I'm stretching the rope almost even. So go ahead and trim it again. Now at this point, whoa, look at the awful big hunk he took out. You don't mind too terribly if I don't trust you anymore. And go ahead and start the whole routine all over from the beginning. Now at this point I want you to watch the end of my left hand and watch very closely. I'm going to place the left hand end in my right hand, so that leaves me with only one end sticking out. Now if I take the end and throw it away, we now have a piece of rope with no ends, no fingers. Just one continuous piece of rope.
Wow.
Now, you don't mind too terribly if I don't really trust you anymore and use my fingers, which are sharper and a lot faster to cut the rope with. Now at this point I want you to go ahead and cut it anywhere you so desire. Now at this point I'm going to restore the rope right back to its original condition. So what we now have is a rope that's restored, correct? Except for the knot in the center. If I was to untie the knot, what I would end up with is two pieces of rope, correct?
Yeah.
Now at this point I want the scissors back from you. And everybody yell, scream, and give her a great big round of applause for helping. Now at this point, I'm going to trim it. That's called getting rid of the ends. Now at this point I am going to mention to you that in the Navy they used to teach sailors about knots, like a half-inch knot, square knot. This one they call a slip knot. Now you're probably asking yourselves why they call it a slip knot. That's because if you hang onto it real tight, we can take the rope and slip the knot to this end, back to the center, and all the way off the rope.
Yeah.
Now at this point, I want you to notice that most of the people here watching is all wearing shoes with shoelaces in them. Now you get up in the morning and you tie your shoelaces like this. Then at the end of the day, when you get back home, you have one end through here and one end through the other one. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
And when you pull on it, you end up with a knot caught in your shoes. You ever had that happen? Now, when I was a youngster, I went to my mom and asked her how I untied a knot. She said, you have to use a needle out of my sewing box. The only other way to do it is with your teeth. And then I ran into my first magician, and he gave me a greater idea. He said, just pull on it and take the knot out. You can have the knot for helping. Take it home, put it up in the pillow, and you should have that new Mercedes when you wake up in the morning. Now, at this point, I did tell you I was going to close for you, so right now I'm going to close.